Today, I want to talk about a little bit of the obligation that goes with drinking and expectation on yourself. So, for example, the role that you've played in your family. You have always played a role in your family that you may or may not be aware of. I'm pretty aware of my role. I'm the eldest daughter. I'm the organizer. I'm the emotional babysitter to parents. I'm the one that takes care of everybody. I'm the one that listens to people. I'm the one that anticipates needs and acts accordingly, sometimes in advance of needs that haven't even been spoken up yet. In short, I kind of grew up walking a little bit on eggshells and being afraid to make people angry and also being anxious. And I think a lot of those people that go around and say, "Oh, I'm psychic. I've always been psychic." It's like you instinctively read the room before you even walk into the room. You may not even be aware of that. Getting sober has really helped me to identify that role that I've played. Social obligation is also hugely tied up into drinking, and I don't even think we're aware of just how much it is. So like the overscheduling of our lives, right? But how much of that schedule would you be able to drop if you didn't drink anymore? If you removed alcohol and you removed that little voice inside your head that's telling you to schedule events around the ability to drink alcohol or connect with people or friends over alcohol and escape from your life around alcohol, how much more free time would you have? My guess is you would probably have a lot. I had an extraordinary amount of time when I stopped scheduling unnecessary activities, dinners out, brunches, even walks with the red wine in the mug, right? Like I was in the Mommy Need Wine Club. I was the president of the Mommy Needs Wine Club, which is a club that I reject wholeheartedly now. I think wine and alcohol in general is marketed to moms to a level that will probably be studied one day. It's completely unfair. What mommy really needs is everything else other than wine. The last thing we need is wine, but we are marketed that wine is self-care. Alcohol is self-care in general for us, right? Like relax with a bourbon, relax with a martini. Like there's no better way to escape than a bottle of red wine with girlfriends. There's no better thing than to go on vacation and spend the whole thing drinking by the pool. I was the president of that club, wrote the book, honey. And I used to come home from vacation and say, like, I need a vacation from my vacation. It's just one of those expressions that people use, and they use them for a reason because you spent the whole time drunk. Even if you didn't drink all the time, you were still drinking, which brings you down on every level. And especially if you're juggling kids. So when we were booking on all-inclusive vacations or just family getaway vacations, my husband and I always were drinking. Even if we didn't get drunk, we always were drinking, right? Like, and then your kids are up through the night, your kids are up in the morning, you got activities scheduled all day. No one understands hangovers. No one cares. So you spend life at a subpar level. You spend life kind of grumpy, a little bit on edge, wishing your kids would just go away, putting them in front of a screen, whatever, right? Like you're just annoyed. You're at a subpar vibration. Those days will still happen when you're sober, of course. It's called being human, right? But mommy doesn't need wine. None of us need wine. So it's okay to go into this holiday season, or any season for that matter, and stop overscheduling your life around alcohol. Stop indulging people in their last minute plans or their party invitations if you don't want to go. Also, if you go, you don't need to get drunk. And if you are struggling with your drinking, that might mean that in this season, you might need to sit this one out and just really turn inward into yourself and spend time at home, spend time learning about why drinking makes you uncomfortable now, learning how you can cope with it, finding different hobbies, finding replacements. Like I got sober just after Christmas, almost 2 years ago, and it was a huge transition time in my life. On one hand, I felt elated and excited and like better than I'd ever felt before because I was kind of like detox and fresh mind, and I went to feeling like a whole new lease on life. But I also did not want to schedule those things with friends because I knew that they would be drinking, and I knew that I was the missing piece, and I no longer had that piece to put into their puzzle, the social puzzle, right? I had to change the whole way that I socialized, and that takes an adjustment period. And I love the fact that more and more people are talking about it now, because even a couple of years ago, like there were way less people talking about quitting drinking or cutting down on drinking anywhere. Not to mention like before that, when my friends were going to rehab and, you know, various people I knew died of addiction and overdoses and unaliving themselves due to substance abuse. Like, there were not the resources and people talking about these things that there are now. I think TikTok is out here saving lives, for real. But I'm here to tell you, if you stumble on this video, that you have full permission to not drink at all if you don't want to. You don't need to hit rock bottom. You don't need to give anyone a reason, and you can stay home this holiday season and not overschedule yourself, burn yourself out, and be less of an evolved human if that's the right move for you. I think if you look inside yourself, you'll know the answer deep down. But it's about the right time and place that you're ready to discover that answer and hear it. Because that little voice will just keep going and keep going. And if you're not hearing the words that the voice is saying, you're going to feel the physical message. You're going to feel all of those feelings of uncomfortability that we were talking about before, where your life is just a lot less than it could be. So happy Sober Sunday, guys. Food for thought.